Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Franklin here, and today we're going to be talking about the new suspect test for OU, that is the horse, Spectrier. In my initial video, when I completed the Urshifu suspect test, I did believe that Spectrier and Magirna were going to be the next one on the chopping block, and I actually made a video even before the suspect test was completed, the Urshifu one. Even the Formosa, no, after Formosa got banned, I did believe that Urshifu, Spectrier, and Magirna were like three prominent problems. But to me, honestly, it's kind of coming as a surprise that this mod is getting suspect tested, not Magirna, because I truly believe Magirna is far more broken than Spectrier. And let's just go over it. Let's see what the suspect test is all about. I don't know what the date is. Let's do February 5th. Interesting. I think it's like a little over 2 weeks, so that's plenty of time. I actually have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC, which by the way has been a phenomenal experience so far. And I haven't really been playing much Pokemon lately, just because, you know, I think it's good for everyone to take a break from mons now and then. That way you don't get burnt out and feel so dragged on. Because I noticed that a lot of my friends are not starting to play Pokemon as much anymore, which I hopefully do not end up like them. No offense to those guys. They do talk about in the post why it's getting suspect tested. It does have an incredible base 145 special attack. Being an offensive ghost in this metagame, like, you know, is very, very good. The only issue I have with the horse is that I truly don't really think it restricts team building, because we do have Pokemon like Blissey, Tyranitar, Chansey, Mandibuzz. We do have those Pokemon. Those Pokemon tend to be very bulky, and they're able to either resist or just completely nullify Spectrier in general. We do also have Unaware Clef, which sometimes it's able to wall it, but under the correct IVs and EVs of Spectrier, it won't break the substitute, which could be a bit of problematic. And Hydreigon as well, another Pokemon that can be fat as well, and it can take the hits from Spectrier and just OHKO it with Dark Pulse. Another important aspect of Spectrier is that it's able to break a lot of stuff that isn't those Pokemon I just mentioned. Normally fat stuff like Toxapex and Clefable, a Spectrier is incredibly like hard hitting and just breaks through so many common cores. Of course, now with Urshifu gone, Spectrier got a lot better, that in the sense that it doesn't have to worry about the mind games or a random Scarf Urshifu, but now it has to deal with Choice Band and Rillaboom, which I believe it OHKOs it from full. I don't remember. Probably it does not, but it does so much damage, and it is able to revenge kill it, I believe, from full. Also, Pokemon such as Cinderace now is the Sucker Punch Mind Game King, which is pretty funny considering that Cinderace was actually auto banned in DLC 1. But I kind of want to talk about more of why Magirna is more of a problematic Pokemon than Spectrier. The biggest argument that I got out of this was it basically restricts team building, due to the fact that you have to have a Ghost Resist or Ghost Immunity, otherwise you lose. But Ghost has always been a very strong typing in this metagame, particularly in Gen 8 when we had Aegislash and Dragapult pretty much dominating everywhere in pre-Pokemon Home. And even in DLC 1, when even though Zeraora came back, like Dragapult, Aegislash, even Gengar was starting to be sprinkled on a lot of teams. And just Ghost is a pretty good typing all around. And yeah, go over the sets real quick. I've been using the Spectrier set, the substitute Calm Mind set, where you can just get a substitute behind the common Pokemon, the fat Pokemon that cannot break any substitutes, and just start Calm Minding up and just win games from there. I believe after +2 or +3 Calm Minds, like Heatrans, Magma Storms cannot break the sub, which is pretty powerful in itself. I've been using this set a lot lately, and it has helped me out in the long run, but I do believe like Specs, which is personally my favorite set in Spectrier's existence so far, is the more powerful and the more assertive Pokemon in the metagame, where, like I said, as soon as you get the ball rolling and you get your Ghost Resist and Ghost Immunity is gone, this thing becomes an absolute demon and very hard to deal with. But me personally, I love HO. I always use Choice Specs Horse in hyper offensive teams, and it just destroys everything that isn't going to be able to hit back. But part of the discussion I wanted to talk about just for a bit is I think the console might be mistiming their suspect tests. I do believe Magirna is a bigger problem than Spectrier, because although Spectrier does limit team building, I think Magirna oftentimes it sees itself as a auto instant win. And what I mean by that is Magirna has always been that Pokemon that in this generation has become very problematic, and it actually did end up getting banned from DLC 1 about a couple months ago. The reason being is that it's, as I mentioned in my previous videos, that its fresh moveset pool of like Draining Kiss, Stored Power, Iron Defense, Trick, like those moves have been instantaneously synergetic for Magirna. Me personally, when I completed my suspect test from Urshifu, I did mention that Magirna is a bigger problem, and this is the moveset that I used to get Rex for Urshifu suspect test. This thing was so dominant, like even without screens, I believe the HP investment is enough where it can live a Garchomp Life Orb boosted Earthquake from full, which is incredible, because then you can get your shift gear up, you can get some leftovers back, and then depending on how weak that Garchomp is, like Draining Kiss and Stored Power start snowballing to the point that, like, goddamn, it just gets annoying. What I love about Magirna is Draining Kiss and Stored Power are like so freaking busted on this Pokemon, because as you can get HP back and you get +1 in special attack because of its ability Soul Heart, and once you get Shift Gear up, you're pretty much going to be the fastest Pokemon against unboosted threats. Most notably, like Cinderace is a very problematic Pokemon for this, but as soon as it gets a Shift Gear, I believe, and once it gets a Calm Mind up prior to that, I don't think Cinderace is able to take a Stored Power from this, if I am not mistaken. I have to redo those calculations, unless it has to be Life Orb, but I don't remember the exact calculations for that. But for sure at +2 with a Shift Gear, it dies. So there you go. And then the only thing about Magirna is that oftentimes it does get walled by Heatran. But the issue is with Heatran, especially against hyper offensive teams, Magirna tends to sit behind screens, like whether it's set up by Regieleki or Tapu Koko or Grimmsnarl, who I've seen beforehand. And the problem with Magirna is that you want to punish it so much, but the issue is behind screens you have to be very careful, because oftentimes in hyper offensive teams, Magirna often has a weakness policy, and you do not want to set this off, because as soon as this sets off, especially behind a Shift Gear or even a Calm Mind, it's pretty much GG unless you have a good priority Pokemon that can handle it. But even then, like, if your so-and-so counters such as Heatran and Cinderace are pretty much gone, it's pretty hard to deal with it from the get-go. And last but not least is the Choice Spec set from Magirna. This thing is disgusting because Trick allows it to bypass the quote-unquote checks with Blissey, Chansey, those special defensive fat mons that are able to take a hit from Magirna. Choice Spec's Fleur is just so powerful. Anything that doesn't resist this pretty much is going to take like 50 to death instantly. I've seen Excadrills without any defensive investment take like 70 from this, which is incredible. I don't know how. And then oftentimes they have Flash Cannon. I've seen Aurasphere and Aurasphere, Ice Beam, Focus Blast for the hardcore tryhards in this game. Basically to lure in Heatrans, and then Volt Switch is always a must-have because you don't want to stay in on problematic matchups, and it hits pretty hard. So yeah, there's that. As for the suspect test, I think I'm gonna vote no. Or obviously I need to get Rex first, but I'm leaning towards not ban, and rather instead try to advocate for Magirna's suspect test. 'Cause I think once Magirna goes, then it's appropriate to have a Spectrier suspect test. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I didn't want to make this video that long, just my opinions on this suspect test. I do think it's a bit mistimed, because while, like I said, Spectrier is kind of a team restricted, team restricted building Pokemon, or team building restriction, to the point that it does qualify as a problematic Pokemon. I think Magirna overall is very problematic in a sense that it's a auto win under favorable conditions. So that's just my opinion. It's your boy Franklin signing out. Peace. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, like, what do you think about the horse being suspect tested? And yeah, that'll be it. Peace.